I probably want to turn this down. That's pretty much all I have to do. I can close this now. But it's kind of cool to have it just for analytics purposes. I can see who's on and whatever. Okay. Hey, everybody. Oh, maybe I should do this. Hello, fellas. Look at this. We're doing another test of the stream, but I got a friend that's joining me for this one. It's our friend Kevin on the Cape. Hello, Kevin. What's going on?
Live stream. I've always been better live than I am recorded.
Good stuff, man. It definitely. This is fun. I think it's very interesting to see how everything's going. I could probably close this YouTube studio thing and then figure out. I don't think we need to keep that up, do we? I think we're okay now.
Is it also streaming on YouTube?
It is streaming on YouTube as we speak. Tell your friends.
Okay.
Tell your friends. So there we go. We got our test stream number 2 going. Look at that. That's pretty boss. I can see you there. You see me. It's pretty cool. Can you?
That works. That looks good. Yeah.
So it is kind of weird. So just for the people at home, what Kevin is seeing is literally what you're seeing. You're seeing the whole thing on the screen. So if I do something like this, he doesn't see either himself or me. He just sees this slide. It says, "Oh, the show's over." It's not over. We're still talking. Here we are. We're still talking. We're still doing things. Yeah. But this is a new program. This is a new. Well, it's new to me. It's been around a really long time. But it's a streaming software called OBS, and it gets used a lot for a lot of things. Actually, if you can believe it, it's been used for. It's used on Twitch. It's used on YouTube. It might even be used on actual television broadcasts. To be honest, it's really sophisticated stuff. But it's actually easy to use. You'd be surprised. So it is kind of nice. So Kev, what would you like to see next? Do you want to take a look at some other stuff? You can hear me, right? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just making sure it was on YouTube.
Oh, did you see it? Are you seeing it?
Yeah, it's working great. Looks good.
Dude, that's awesome. That's super awesome. That really, seriously, that's really great. So hopefully other people can see this. What is going on? Oh, okay. Just look at my text. So I don't know. There is actually a chat on YouTube, and
yeah, I just checked it out. It works.
Oh, does
Everything
it really?
Looks good. Yeah.
Let me go to the studio and see about that. I want to see that. I don't know. I only have so much bandwidth. I don't want to be running 3 things at once. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I can actually do that here. I guess the idea behind that is just to see if I click on this button right here, the live button. I'm already in the live button. I should be live now. Okay, here I am. But I got to see, where's the chat? Did you actually? Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah. That's cool. I see it. I see it right there. That's great.
So are you planning on like new kind of shows that you'll use this for? That's right.
So first things first, before we get into any kind of new kind of content, new show, new whatever.
Well, it's my journalist in me. I'm trying to interview you now. I'm trying to see what's going on.
Hey, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it for sure. I just want to get a good close up of the junk man. Oh yes, live and at 5, wearing the Max Seafood t-shirt. Good
I didn't even get dressed for this one. I'm in my PJs. Sorry, folks.
I've been in my PJs a lot. I mean, I've been for work and whatever else. It's really funny. So I will show you a couple things that I am going to do in the immediate future.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is a sneak preview for all of you who are going to tune in tomorrow. We have our golf recap. We're going to talk about the Masters. And so, I mean, I've been doing this anyway. I was doing this on just Zoom.
Are you going to get Fred Couples' son on?
No.
Gary Player's son?
Gary Player's son? Okay. No, don't have that on the table. No, we won't be covering the Marco Mira special that came up before the tournament final round. So yeah, I mean everybody knows these already. So it's just some of these things that we're gonna do.
Nice.
Oh yeah, these slides.
I would like a sidebar of somebody to explain to me what Gary Player meant when he said that him and Lee Elders dealt with a lot of the same things in their life. I was curious as how that would work. A black guy from the South versus some rich golfer from South Africa.
Yeah,
I
I'm
wondered
not.
what exactly.
No,
were
be
they-
more
I mean,
specific. A rich white golfer from South Africa.
yes, South Africa, who is the only country that is worse than we are when it comes to the treatment
I don't
of
know.
black people.
It's pretty bad everywhere in a lot of places.
Anyway,
Yeah.
he actually said, yeah, we have some similar things in our past. I was guessing maybe he was talking about putting. Maybe they were bad putters. I don't know.
I think Gary Player is a good guy though, so I'll give him a pass on
don't.
that one.
I definitely don't.
You don't.
I definitely do not.
Wow. We'll have to get into that later. Okay, so here comes
Yeah,
my
so you got your big master show tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep. And we're ready. And anytime we need to do random questions from here on out, this is how we'll do it. On America's favorite moment in sports. Let me make sure I get the volume right. Sports Talk Podcasting. Wait, I gotta find the thing. Oh, here it is. Okay, and Sports Talk Podcasting.
Do the dance. It's time for random questions. Good stuff. In the city with Kevin on the Cape.
And time for another test edition of the random questions. Oh, fudge. I forgot to put you on the thing. But that's what the random questions graphic will look like. So let me give you a second. I'll put you on here right now. There you go. Junkman's invisible. We need to get him on there. Hold on. I'm working on it.
There's still some sandwiches. We don't want that.
No sandwiches here. We're gonna, not tonight anyway. There we go. I'm not gonna do this
cool.
on the air for the actual show. I just forgot right now. This is sweet.
So you can do this ahead of time
Yeah. You're supposed to. That's what I did for. That's what I did for the other two
for
shot.
each.
Yeah. The other two shot. I did them that way. But now I can simplify this because I already know the numbers. I just go.
Right.
So 15. Bottom was 320. I think there was another one, but I forgot. Oh, that's pretty boss. That's pretty boss. So it's same numbers here. I really want to get this as close to the proper numbers as I can because I wanted to fit like a glove. Something like that. I may not have done that right. Yeah, it looks okay. Wow, look at this! Random questions! YouTube style. Do you like it?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I fortuitous I found the graphic but for the background, so I thought that was always really cool. And then, so do you have a question for me before we get into this?
Should Fish be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I don't think a trout belongs there. No, I know. I'm just kidding. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about this off air, and no, I guess that's my answer. Sorry, board member named Fish, but no, it doesn't move the needle, I don't think. And what was your argument? You had a great argument.
They didn't have one. I know top 40 will make us sound like old men, but not one radio hit at all. FM, AM, whatever you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And you brought up really, I mean, here's something with Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You can say bands you don't like, right? Because music's very personal. But
Sure.
if you say you don't like Journey, you could still name a couple of songs, right?
Yep.
You can Chicago, the bands that I don't like, Donna Summer, at least like those late 70s that I'm not really into. But if you're not a fan of Fish, you could not name one song.
No.
There's not like, even obviously like the one hit wonders, you can name a song. They're just because you were around for a while and they do have a hardcore fan base. But I contend that if it wasn't for chemical enhancement,
Well,
that band would not exist at all. There would be no fans. I mean, I used to work for a guy who hated them. He was a really old. He had a really good, interesting music taste at one of the hotels that I was helping at a couple years ago, and that was the one where the owner was the guy from Wilco, and so there was a lot of music stuff around. And he would always, anytime someone mentioned Fish, we put Fish on or whatever, he'd be like, You know what happened when my friends who love Fish stopped using drugs? They realized that Fish sucked.
I think he
Like
said. I remember this.
it would be some variation of that joke
Yeah.
all the time. And he's like, when everyone got sober, they realized this band was terrible.
I remember you making that. You telling me that story. And
I don't dislike them. So I was just asking you, like I could put them on YouTube for half an hour. Or, I mean, I know the songs. I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
maybe
couldn't tell you any
20%.
songs they do. But I will know them when I hear them because it's like they play a song, and then like the next day they finish the song. So it's like
it's a little bit. Yeah, you go to like a 4-hour concert and you're like, oh, they played 3 songs. That's weird.
Yeah.
Like what happened in the middle there? And they're like, I don't know. They just like a log rolling around and everyone had balloons and noisemakers. And then, Peter Gabriel came out and they started singing Happy Birthday to John Lennon in Swahili. You're like, oh, all right. Well, I think that might have been the acid. I don't think that actually happened to you. So, and I have some of the most beautiful people I know, some great friends of mine, and they love them. And I've gone to 1 or 2 shows, but they were like a total afterthought. I was just going to hang out with people, and I don't know. People try to say, "Oh, the Grateful Dead's in the Hall of Fame." The comparison doesn't work. The Grateful Dead had some hits. They had some phenomenal albums, some really, really phenomenal albums, and they had one of the greatest. I mean, I guess Fish has a very good guitar player too, but I don't know. There's really no like signature moment, right? I mean, if you're not a fan of the Grateful Dead, you know Touch of Grey. I'm sorry, like everybody knows that song.
The biggest hit ever.
Yeah. I mean, probably everyone knows Uncle John's Band, and they know Truckin', those kind of things, and they know Jerry Garcia. But they just know his name. They wouldn't know the bass player or the drummer, but people struggle to name a guy in Fish.
I don't even know anybody in it. To be honest, like I don't know.
Right, and you know a lot about music, so.
Mm-hmm. And you do too. So it's a good point. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I know them all, but I'm just saying, I don't hate them. So I just thought it's a good random question. I just, for some reason, thought of it. I don't know why I was thinking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame today. I was actually just thinking, is Jimmy Buffett in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I don't know. That's a total random one from Fish.
Well, I mean, he has more credentials than Fish, to be, believe it or not, just because, he had more than one hit in the 70s and top 40 radio, right? So
yeah, I don't think he's in. And looking at just the first like Google results, there's like some questions. Why the first result like why isn't Jimmy Buffett in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Right.
But yeah, he's got. I'm sure. That's probably not. I'm sure he doesn't care. The guy's probably the richest musician ever.
Yeah, I mean his little restaurant chain went really hot.
Dude, they're building retirement communities, Margaritaville retirement.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
whatever.
I heard about that. That's right.
You got to pay you throw down like $6-8 grand a month to live in these places, and he's just Margaritaville. The song I read an article that it's made more money than any other song in the history. It just beat Happy Birthday as the most profitable song in the history of music.
Well, which one? Margaritaville?
Margaritaville, because of
Is it because they played it at all the restaurants like every day or something?
Well, it's because it spurred the restaurants.
Okay.
All the gear. I mean, there's hotels. They have Margaritaville hotels. I've never stayed in one, but I've walked past them. They were building one in Nashville the last time we were down in Nashville.
Yeah.
So the guy is just he's done Broadway plays. And then he can look next time he does a tour. Just look at the ticket prices. I mean, you would think it was Rolling Stones, but he gets it.
And
I like him too. So I'm not like.
Oh, you actually like him?
These people. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well,
I've been to.
Okay, I don't hate him, right? Like it's fun, it's catchy. He's really bad at singing though, man. He cannot sing. That's the only thing.
He's just I mean he's just I don't know. I have this Caribbean streak in me where the Keys a lot when I was young, and a lot of the islands. And there's always a part of me. My favorite book that I read every year is about a guy who's from New York and goes to an island to buy a hotel, and I read it once every year. Done it for like, I don't know, 15 years, and it's just a part of me where I always feel like that's where I was supposed to be. That's where I should be.
Love it. You know, it's.
But now I don't drink and smoke cigars anymore, so I don't even know what I would do down there.
I have a random question for you. Do you think that I would become more of a fan as I get, if like 10 years from now? Do you think that that's something that I would appreciate more? Like golf,
No.
you know? No, you don't think so?
No,
That's
no.
gonna
I
happen?
think Jimmy Buffett's sort of like a lifestyle. It's not even a musician, or I mean, the band that he has is good. So like you could be entertained. They have some good musicians and background singers, and they steel drums. I love listening to the bongos. He's got like a band. He's like 15 guys and a couple women on stage. It's pretty wild, and the songs are easy to sing along to. So it's like a fun concert. You may, in a year or two, you have to go soon because the guy, he's like 75 years old.
Oh, that's right. I forget how old he is. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, if you went to a concert next summer, you would have a good time, and you would see a bunch of ladies in bikinis and stuff. They're probably getting a little older too, but you would have fun. But you wouldn't be like, "Oh, I'm sold. I'm going to go out and follow this guy." You wouldn't be like following him around. And
I think that's a very fair assessment. I think I would have a good time at that because I'd be going with some people I know. I'm sure I'd be going with good friends.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see a fun tailgate, and then you know there's like inflatable pools and people swimming in pools and full bars, guys setting up full bars, margaritas, daiquiris, blenders. I mean, it's a high class tailgate.
Yeah,
I've seen people having pig roasts in parking lots at those kind of places. It's not like drinking Jack out of a broken bottle cap and smoking shitty joints before a Blues Traveler show in the 90s or something.
It's pretty. Yeah, I got you there. This is pretty good. I will give you one random question because our friend from the board, this idea, who is good with the. Do you remember him? Do you remember this idea back in the board?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
I feel like he had a lot of a somewhat odd obsession with like pooping.
Yes, you have it right.
And like public bathrooms and things like that.
That is on the money.
Or work. Okay, so it's good. These are good to test my memory every once in a while. So
good guess.
Still got it.
Still got it. So you'll probably have no surprise at the nature of this question. Here we go.
Wonderful.
Random question for Junkman. He says, would he allow me? What? Oh, God. Okay. Would you allow me to oil your anus for a free year of vegan food from the vegan place that's near you or closest to you?
Okay, the first part was he was going to do what to my butthole?
No, he was going, would you let me oil your butthole for a free year, a whole year of vegan food from your favorite vegan place nearby or close to you?
What's the benefit of an oily butthole? Why would I do that?
I think
like, what's the positive from it?
That's not a question for me. I don't have the answer to that question. I think the idea is, are you willing to go through that for the purpose of getting a year of free food? So they're testing, like, how much would you, like, would that be worth that awkward experience so that you may have an entire year, and I'm assuming it's as much as you want, of like the best vegan food from a place that's near to you.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's really weird. This guy's got some dark places his mind goes to. And unfortunately he's throwing in like, the enticements are not even remotely big enough to even suggest for anyone to see my butthole, let alone touch it with something. Because there is no vegan places here. I don't live in a city. If I was in LA, if I was lived in LA or Portland or Nashville or someplace, Asheville, I'd be like, oh, interesting vegan places because there's like 20 that I love, but we don't have any of those. We have one vegan diner about a half an hour from here, and it's not very good. It's not. It's not. So, no, that would be the answer. That would be the short answer. Now, if there was something, I'm not saying if somebody was going to oil a body, like a private body part like that, first of all, the answer would be no to anyone except my wife. There would be no one that would even be permitted to go into that neighborhood.
Yeah.
But if I was going to let her do it, it would still need to be more than that. Like, even for a year of free food, my wife would be like, I'm not touching your butthole. Like, we have plenty of money to buy food. Like, food is not something we need. I mean, we struggle to get, thankfully. You know, we're blessed in that sense. If you said, would you let your wife oil your butthole for $250,000 or maybe even less? I don't know. There's a number. There's always a number. We've talked. We've done random questions for
there's no doubt. There's a number for everything.
8 years.
There is.
So there is a number where she could put some oil on my butthole for sure. I mean, I don't know what that number is, and you would probably have to include her. This is
just for Sony to do it. What would the number be for me?
It would be enough money for Cody's kids to never have to work again.
Okay.
So we have to go you have to be talking about multiple generations taken care of.
And listen, beyond that, there needs to be a number for me too, because I'm not exactly going out of my way to do that either, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, this is not an unprecedented thing either because people get what is it? They get colonoscopies, or is it like a prostate exam?
Right.
There is a thing where the doctor sticks his finger in your asshole. Like that happens in life. I mean, it hasn't happened to us yet. We're not old enough, but a colonoscopy is I think a tool, but the prostate exam is like 2 fingers, and he just has to see if there's any like bumps in your prostate, like polyps or whatever. So it's not to say that, I mean, these things happen to men. It's part of life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're not a doctor.
No
offense. I don't know if Mr. or Mrs. Medina wanted you to be one, but didn't happen. I'm not a doctor. I've been a patient a lot, as you know. I've had sponge baths sort of like in between my cheeks from people.
You have had experiences as documented on your podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some harrowing things, and one of them was a very aggressive sponge bath that I still feel like I could press charges against those 2 nurses. So yeah, for somebody that's not my wife to do that, I would probably, it would be 6 figures for sure. And I would probably have to also get permission from my wife to drink again that day because I don't drink anymore.
Sure.
I would have to be pretty hammered. And so yeah, that guy, he's out there, but he even back in the day, he did always come with some questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some interesting questions. I'm not going to say if they're good or bad because however you feel about buttholes. There are some people who, I mean, especially some people in LA, I'm sure, who would be like, oh, $20. Just give me a taco. Like you some of the comedians that I listen to that are from LA, like these guys are raunchy, man. Like if you listen to Tom Segura, he's an LA comic and he's got a huge podcast and stuff. He would be like, you kidding me? Just based off his act, I don't know the man personally, but based off his act, he'd be like, yeah, buy me dinner. You can rim my asshole. There's some people out there that are into some shit like that. I am not one of those people. Right
on. Well, I think, what can we do to cleanse our palate before we take off tonight? Let me think. How's your FanDuel going? How's your FanDuel going?
Solid.
Yeah. I mean, you won on Sunday. Congratulations.
That was the first place. This is exciting. I figured I wouldn't get a first place until like August.
No, it's a tremendous start. Yeah.
Like April. All right. It's fun. It's actually, I mean, like I said, like, I got the MLB TV thing, so I have watched some Mets games more. Probably I've watched more innings in this month than I probably have in the last 6 years.
Oh, sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I'm like getting to know this team, which I don't. My brother and cousins know all of them, and I'm like, I like this guy. This guy seems a little weird. It's interesting because they all have the history with this guy. So I'm like, I'm not sure about some of these guys you guys have been telling me about. They seem kind of like dickish, a few of them, but it's about the only time I've got when, literally once like 6 o'clock in the morning comes, Cody gets up.
Mm-hmm.
He's like on top of my head. Then, I've got my own health things, and I'm like, I struggle to like 11 o'clock in the morning to start to feel normal. And then the baby's screaming, and soon he's on, what's the word? Maternity leave until May something. But still, so the end of May is going to be crazy. That would be a good random question show for the summer, or maybe the fall, whatever, especially get fathers from the board. Once I get, because I'm going to have probably the whole summer of being, starting in June, it'll be me and the two kids all day long, because she's going back to work and she's going back to, studying for MBA. So from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. is going to be old man me with 2.5-year-old and a 2-month-old. So it's going to be like Mr. Mom. So random
totally
questions from the dads, or even the guys who are thinking about having kids or something.
Yeah,
that would be a fun show, because that's something we've done so many things in random questions, but we've never done a parent question show. Because
wow, we're gonna do Parent Corner.
I know,
this is unbelievable.
I never
get more like
pet.
Bill Simmons every day.
We didn't even have a pet during all of our years.
No,
right? You never did. I never did.
No, I didn't.
I was never home. I would work all the time and then do your show.
So new.
So, did you just say I was becoming Bill Simmons?
No, we together are becoming more like Bill Simmons every day, because we're doing...
It would be nice to have his paycheck.
Yeah, no. We're not doing that part of Bill Simmons yet. No, it'll take.
Although, but we're not. Probably not. What's the money? More money, more problems, Dave.
It's fair.
We're old school.
That's fair. That's true. Actually, you hear about all kinds of issues. Issues with taxes and so on. It's kind of like.
And he probably couldn't do a butthole conversation either. I mean, I don't think I think he's a little more like, oh, that's beneath me. I can't do. I don't know if he's goes down there.
Down there.
Oh yeah, that was an unintentional pun, which I am also the king of.
Love that. Love the puns. Shout out to this idea though for that quite provocative question though.
So you're gonna do all your shows this way now? That
is the plan. I mean, this is working really well. I was just like, something's gonna be fucked up.
Can you do 4? Can you do 3? Like, I know obviously I see the thing, but can you do 3 guests? You can.
It's gonna. So yes, you can do 3, but it's gonna be a challenge for me to figure out how to do the 3. But I think you can.
Right.
What I would do is I would ISO cam that a little differently. So what I would do. So let me just show you what that looks like. That's a good question. So 3-shot looks like this. And this is a good segue to my second announcement. And I am going to start.
There's another announcement, folks.
So let me just ISO cam.
You're so good at this because you save it till the end, so they got to watch the whole thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You would give them one announcement sort of in the middle, and then one at the end.
Yep. So here's the announcement, guys. So for a long time, I've been curious as to what a live show would be like on Twitch. But because of the name I selected for the Twitch, I decided to take it in a completely different direction. Because like a lot of times wherever I go, I'm Dave in the city this, Dave in the city that, I'm Dave in the city out west, this and that and whatever. But on Twitch and Discord, as it turns out, I'm known as Davey is eating a sandwich. And that's because it's a running gag that my cousin had him on me, where he saw me eating a sandwich and he just said, "Davey is eating a sandwich," and that just became a running joke between all my cousins and me. So I just registered with that name on the board, and it is like the biggest hit on Twitch in terms of usernames. Everybody loves that name. They're like,
nice.
Oh my goodness, Davey's eating a sandwich. What kind of sandwich? So I'm like, let's just do that then. That'll be a show. Because my family, you probably know my family, or maybe you don't know, but my family calls me Davey.
I knew that. You
didn't know that. Okay.
I've listened to them on your show.
Oh, that's right, the taco show.
I knew that your sisters called you that. I didn't know about. I don't remember how your parents called you, but I remember your sisters calling you that.
Yeah, it's true for everybody. My parents do, my aunts do, my uncles do. So my whole family has known me
It's
by
kind of
Davy.
like Davy Crockett.
Yeah, yeah.
Davy Jones.
Davy Crockett. I remember I used to go to the dentist when I was small. I was like 5 years old, and I go to the dentist, and the lady who was the dentist for me when I was a kid would always go, Davy Crockett. That was always fun. That was always fun. So that's always a fun thing. So yeah,
She's probably dead.
I don't think so. She was only probably maybe.
That was 30 years ago.
Yeah, but she was like our age at the time, so she would be like 70 something now. So
She's probably dead.
wow, Jack, oh, Kev, you went there. By the way, you're in first place in the FanDuel. That's
No
impressive.
shite. Really?
First place.
Still early.
And it was an excellent call taking Lucas Giolito too. Tremendous job.
I stole that from you.
Oh, you did?
You told me about him like 3 weeks ago.
That's right. That's right.
I still thought he was in the Nationals.
Nah. He's really done a great job. He's really come of age. Like that guy.
I remember him coming up, and they were like, he's untradeable. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, he's on the White Sox? What happened to being untradeable?
Well, that was a stupid move because he had a perfect game last year, or 2 years ago, didn't he?
And it was for like, wasn't it for like Adam Eaton?
It was ridiculous.
It wasn't for. I mean, they were the Rizzo and those clowns over there were talking about him like you can't. We're not never trading him. I remember him that whole thing, and then all of a sudden it's like he traded for kind of like who is Adam Eaton? Like what is he? What is he? Is he like Lenny Dykstra? Like is he Bernie Williams? But he's certainly not.
Nah.
I don't know. Anyway. Good for the White Sox. Good for the White Sox,
Yeah,
man.
it was not. It was a no hitter, not a perfect game. I think.
Doesn't get him out of the NL East. It's cool.
Yeah. No, oh yeah, you love that. I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. But it was a no hitter. August 25th, 2020. It was a very exciting game. It was really cool that he was able to do that. I mean, he's had that in him forever, like you said. Like he's got incredible stuff. Like I saw him in the last pre-pandemic year of baseball. I was at Angel Stadium. I saw him pitch against the Angels, and he can throw the ball very hard.
Yeah. So that's one of my observations of watching some baseball. Again, for first time in so long, everyone throws 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Every single person. Like that's like, and they're throwing like 92-mile-an-hour changeups. Like every single, even the little guys. And Bryce Harper looks like the most uninterested baseball star I've ever seen. I just watched the Mets Philly series, so this is just a very quick brushstroke. But he didn't seem to like run hard. He didn't seem to even be sort of in it. He was more interested in like making sure his pants went all the way down to his ankle. It was weird. I thought you have this image that I thought he was like this like Pete Rose kind of guy, and he looked so bored to me and not really, I don't know. Anyway, so everyone throws 100, and even guys who look like your size hit the ball 400 feet
right
out of the park.
But
everybody it's because they all just swing out of their shoes. And
that's right.
So anyway, so Twitch, what is Twitch?
Oh, okay. So Twitch, what is Twitch? Twitch is a service. It started out Amazon, I think, invented it.
Oh, this is the one you told me about. People watch people play video games.
Yeah. That's where people watch people. Now, I'm not going to play video games on this show.
God,
not all the time. Maybe I might for like a few minutes, but that's it.
If it was like Pac-Man, I would watch.
Well, honestly, I did think of that. I was thinking, why don't I just do retro games where I would just do like Galaga for like a night and then see what happens.
But are you like having conversations with people?
Yeah.
Like, is it an actual like
100%?
I would just. So you'd play like Donkey Kong, but you'd be doing a show with Andy about golf, or no? Close.
So the concept, I'm not actually going to play. The video game thing might just be I dabble in that, but this is basically going to be a talk show. So it would be kind of a food centric talk show where we talk about where instead of sports we talk about food. So this is just playing into the meme of me having a food Twitter and a
well, I think it's
Twitter.
good. It's another one of your things that you're knowledgeable about and passionate about. So in separating it might be good, and just doing the food on Twitch, a food show. I mean, we could do random question food.
We will absolutely do random
questions. I'm not saying I
questions.
need to be part of your.
No, yes, you do.
Of your
Yes,
roster.
No. You absolutely. This needs to happen. I don't know. Not necessarily every week, but I would absolutely be honored if we brought random questions to Twitch as well. And that was a big part of it for me. Like, I really love the chat interface on Twitch. It is amazing. It is really good. So we might have a really good chance of getting a good audience. Just the guys.
I think I would be willing to do that if we could promise there's no more butthole questions.
Nah, you can be assured of that. Because I think the moment that Idea gets the idea that there are video games on that channel, he won't be there. No, I don't know.
Well,
that's why we have moderators. We'll have moderators to help us.
Very interesting.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And you can, I mean, you'll do your sports on just like YouTube and other things.
Yeah, we continue to do this on YouTube. Like, this will be the sports outlet.
Will you always do live shows?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'll get into more.
That's like going back to your original show with the Blog Talk Radio. Remember, you had a message board and a chat room or whatever. Yeah. That was awesome. That was like the peak, I think. It's always been good, but that was
truly the peak.
I mean, I couldn't even keep up with that chat room at times. I remember, I think you either sent it to me or you gave me like a login at some point because you were like, you got to go back in and read the chat room from tonight. Go back to like 10:05 or whatever and start reading from there. And it was freaking hysterical. It was as good or better than our show. It was
the chat really took a life of its own. And I think that's what Twitch is. It's part of me wanting to get that back. And I could just do this show on there, but because I picked that name, I had to I can't be Davey in the City Out West. So I'm I had to come up with something else. So
I like it.
Yeah. But I think it's a good call because probably 2% of Twitch cares about sports to begin with. So I figure we should try it. Right.
Well, and Dave, also, I would say if you remove the NFL from the equation, I would say about 2% of America cares about sports.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, they don't get much in numbers.
I'm really kind of getting that feel. This is kind of part of my motivation to try this. Is
well, we can. I feel I know where you. I don't know where you're going, but I think a lot of stuff that's been going on in the last 4 or 5 years, a lot of the social stuff has kind of been, sports is fine, but it's not as the gravity of what's been going on and these young men getting killed by police and all these different things that's going on. People are like, whatever, sports fine. They could take it or leave it. Especially, I think this younger generation. There's only gonna be old guys who just want to watch the Red Sox, no matter what. But I feel like your age and a little younger, they're not as passionate about it.
No.
It may have a team, but as far as the sport thing in general, and you can even see it with some of these younger guys now, some of these baseball players who are talking about sitting out, a couple of these young, these African-American players. And it doesn't mean, to me, it's not, I heard our buddy, our mental moron, Chris Russo, say that these things aren't as big, baseball isn't as big a deal to some of these guys because, so-and-so is threatening to not play. And it's like, it's not technically that. It's more like young black men getting gunned down in the street by cops every other week is a bigger deal than a baseball game. Mm-hmm. Like they can exist in the same. So for like Mookie Betts to be like, this has got to stop, and I'm not playing in the All-Star game if it's in Atlanta. These are serious issues. So I feel like in this, whatever this Twitch is, I've never experienced it, but I think it's a good thing you're separating them and branching them out. You might find a whole new kind of audience.
That's what I'm hoping for. I think two aims for this program, just one to really see where my creativity can take me in terms of what I can do. I'm actually trying to learn piano, and the reason is because I can't play any actual songs like on the thing. I'll get copyright violated, so I have to play it off a piano. They let me do that, though. They'll let me do that, so I'm hoping I can do that. We'll see.
That's awesome, and I haven't done anything, obviously, because of the family situations and my health stuff, and obviously I I'm unable to shut up tonight. So I obviously I would be ready to go at certain times.
I want this because
I need like an outlet because I've got like I said, I deal with 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, it's I got the documentary show. I was thinking a couple weeks ago. I'm like, how did I ever think I could do that and have two little kids, not two like 9-year-old and a 7-year-old who, for the most part, take care of themselves, and you read them a bedtime story and they do their homework. Like, this is like nonstop attention. This is the time where if you're not around, they're going to turn into a bunch of friggin' knuckleheads, both of them. So I was like, I got to put a stop to this show because
it's sad. I'm sad though.
Family.
But I understand completely for sure. It was such a good show though. I'm glad you were.
It's not done forever, but I mean, and too, like with me, I have that underlying train of thought where I'm like, I'm not really sure how long. I don't think I'm going to be here as long as other people because of what happened with my health. So it's like, if I need to sort of, it doesn't need to, my whole life doesn't need to be about the kids, obviously, but they need to get my best effort.
Yeah.
Well, I can still give it, and I'm not just
all right.
So anyway,
for sure. And so the other
stuff, dude.
Thank you. And and I have a very big aim. The second half of my aim with that show is to promote everybody else on Twitch. There's so much creativity out there. You remember you told me a while ago how there's so many great music bars and people are playing great music. Well, Junkman, you got to go to Twitch because it's happening there too. It's unbelievable how good the music is on there.
So these are just people at home.
Yeah,
playing, and then other people they're like requesting songs, and
yes.
they do that. Okay,
you can request songs, and you can tip them, and it's amazing. There was
a version of this a long time ago. My friend Brad and Jamie used to play together, and I don't know what, I can't remember the website now, but this was at the same time of our first like incarnation of Random Questions when I was on the Cape, and they would play like every Tuesday night at 9:00, and you could type songs into the chat like, hey, can you play this song or that song? And there's no chance I'll remember the website, but so I've seen that, and it's cool to have in the background, I guess. But it's also good when they interact. And I know my brother has a lot of buddies of his that are musicians, and he'll always like text, hey, so and so was playing Dave Matthews cover songs all night on Facebook Live or whatever, and I'm like, well, I wouldn't watch Dave Matthews play Dave Matthews songs, so I'm not going to watch some.
Kev, my question: what's the name of that duo you told me about?
The duo?
Yeah, whoever those people were you mentioned.
Well, Jamie Gray was the guy who like hosted it, and Brad King was my really good friend for a long time, and he would like guest. He would be like the guest. He would be like my version of you. Like Jamie Gray was the you. He would always do it. And then Brad would come in occasionally, and they were both guitars, and they sang cover songs and a few of their own. They were both in bands that were mildly successful, and like they're older than me, so like probably late 80s, early 90s.
I wonder if they're on Twitch. I mean,
Jamie Gray might. He was really into it. Brad is Brad is probably now would call himself more of a journalist than he is a musician. He's still.
I don't know how you spell Jamie. I don't see it.
It's the normal way. Yeah, it's. I mean, who knows?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see Jamie Gray on Twitch, but it's interesting.
I'm sure there's tons of. There's so much. Yeah, there's so many talented people out there.
I will link you to some of those folks that I really think are really good, and I'll do that when we are off air, but at some point, because it's pretty sweet. It's pretty phenomenal. But closing thoughts, and I would like you to stay on the Zoom call because I'll show you some more stuff off air. But closing thoughts for our live audience.
If I was a live audience, I would, whatever you have to do, I'm sure you will tell them. Do you need to follow you? Because your dining show or your dining with Dave and your food stuff was actually what I remember first about you before the sports stuff. Whether it was, I think it might have even been the blog.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't on. I had like a little brief stint with social media, but now I can't stand it. So, but I remember you in the beginning more as doing like food reviews, and
Mhm.
they were really awesome.
Thanks.
So this show, I can attest to, it will be given a serious 100% effort from Dave, and it'll be cool. And he's in, to me, the best city in the world and best city in America for food, in LA. So, and once things start to open up again too, there's a lot of possibilities. You can do your stuff out, those kind of things, and it's genuine. Dave's awesome.
I appreciate
So,
that. Thanks, thanks,
so
Kev. Now that's
so whatever they have to do, whether it's like they follow you on Twitter, or if Twitter's its own thing, probably. So we have to sign up for that.
yeah. You just go do twitch.tv. It's really easy though. You just to sign up for an
Yeah.
account. It's extremely easy. You can even do it on your smartphone.
What would you like? How many users they have? Are they like totally crushing it? Are they in?
Well, it depends on the channel. I mean, Twitch itself
Okay.
probably has millions of people on it, but
It's
I would
not
say
as big as YouTube, though, right?
no. I don't think it's as big as YouTube. No, I don't think anything is as big as YouTube. That's huge.
Just Google, right?
Like
Google,
it's
Facebook, and
Google,
YouTube.
well, Google is YouTube. It's the same thing.
Right.
Their own
Yeah,
thing,
of course. Yeah, sorry.
But
yeah.
but you're right. That makes sense. And then I mean, Netflix is huge too. Disney Plus is
Yeah.
pretty huge, and Twitch is kind of like just below that.
I'm excited too because I think that the podcasting thing right now is kind of boring. Not your show. I'm talking about the meet, like the avenue, the medium.
Oh, okay.
It is. There's not that many exciting things on it anymore. It seems like, especially in the pandemic world, every famous person started a podcast. So
Yeah.
it's kind of been taken away from the people like yourself and the people that are kind of the grassroots version of podcasting that I kind of liked. I feel like now it's, an intro, like 3 ads, and it's Doug Flutie interviewing Brett Favre, and then it's like 3 more ads, and then
Were you on ESPN's Pod Center site? Like, it sounds like
no,
an ESPN show.
No, it was an ad on Sirius that I heard in the car.
Oh,
It was
okay,
like-
okay.
It's called like the Flutie Flake podcast. This is literally
There's
the
a
dumb.
Doug
like,
Flutie
name,
podcast now?
It was literally like, everybody get in a room and pick the stupidest name for a show, and we're gonna pick that. And like, like even Russo on his show has doing podcasts and stuff. So it's like, and the lines are kind of getting blurred of what a podcast is.
Oh, is
and
that
what
you thinking the
radio
podcast
shows are.
jumped the shark, huh? Is that right?
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like just not that it's. I mean, it's actually more people are doing it than ever. But I think more stuff like what you're talking about is like the next thing that I would be more interested. I'm way more interested in live shows with podcasts to see what people can do. I'm way more interested in what you're talking about with immediate feedback from audience members.
Yeah.
Not just like, okay, put the podcast up and then wait for emails to come in or Twitter messages on what they liked. I think one of the things about podcasts now that would be interesting to me are more listener involvement, or whether it's just like through questions or comments, or, hey, Dave, I need you to tell me what the 3 best taco stands are in Santa Barbara. And then you're like, people like show ideas from people, I think, and then you doing it, people would love, like, hey, send me, I'm going to take 10 show ideas in the next month, and I'm going to pick the best one, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to, and Jill from Anaheim, it was your idea. So I want you to call in, and you're going to get 5 minutes, and I'm going to promote your Instagram handle, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That kind of stuff. I think you're not going to get, 10 million listeners.
No, I'm not expecting.
You're going to get more engagement, and you're going to
Yeah,
get,
I mean, my
people
goal
who
is
are,
probably like 30. It's not even that. It's such a low bar. Like I hope 30 people can show up every night, and
right.
And
some people will like say, okay, he's doing this kind of a topic. I'm not really into that, but I heard him say that next week he's doing this. So, like it'll be enough. It'll be fun. And then I think it'll be richer. It'll be like a richer show to have more involved and more like we said, we've said this 100 times about how when that chat room was flying, that show was amazing. I couldn't even keep up with it.
It was just the best. It was some of the best years of this podcast doing that Blog Talk Radio chat room. We were flying.
I wish I could remember some of it because I was like.
I saved some of them. Like I saved them into text files. Like they're so good. Like I just saved them.
That's awesome.
To save the transcripts.
So that would be my last parting moment for the people.
Love it.
If anyone's going to listen to this preview, but do a preview shows, man. I love preview shows.
Preview shows. Boom, boom.
So I'm taking a lot. I don't know how long a break, but I mean, I'm not even doing my heart show anymore. I mean, I have. Well, I can do these kind of things like at night spots and stuff. But as far as because even with the documentary show, man, I would do hours of.
You're right.
Prep.
You did do a lot of prep for it.
I didn't just watch the movie, and then I was doing this other thing with the heart stuff where I was doing these like 20-minute pieces where they were like just taking a concept about heart health. Like, let's just say, for example, I did one where it's, like different things, different little signals that your body gives you that you're having a heart issue that aren't heart related. So like your skin or your nails, there's certain things. So a canary in the coal mine where if you got this going on, it's not just, it could be your heart. So anyway, my goal was I was calling them 20 minutes to live. So they were like 20-minute exercises you can do to help your heart. And I all wanted to do the show in 20 minutes. But I also wanted to make it smart, and I wanted to have some cool research and tidbits that people didn't know. So I did 3 of them, and I recorded 3 of them. And each 20-minute episode took me between 10 and 12 hours of research because I was writing scripts out. I wanted it to sound really polished and really and I was like, where am I? I can't do this. I don't have the time for this. Even Suni was like, when do you think you're going to, and 2 of them, I didn't finish the 3rd one, but the first 2 are really good. And I always think I'm like an old Jewish guy. I think my stuff sucks. Like no matter what, like I'm an old Jewish comedian where I don't think anything I make is funny. I don't think anything I write is good, whether it is or not. But these 2 episodes were really good, but there's no chance I could keep it up. I could not keep that. So some other time I'll revisit it. So
I can say I really appreciate all that hard effort. It is, and it would be good to save for posterity. I just downloaded it on my computer because I want to hear these episodes, like all of them, because they were all really high quality, like the ones you did with Quicks and the ones you did with your brother. So I just want to say, like, since while you're here, I just want to say thank you.
Oh yeah, it was fun. I already have an idea for it's going to be down the road, but someone can steal it. I don't care because I want someone to make a podcast about this. I want to do, it's a movie thing, but it's regular movies, not documentaries. Like think of like the bombs, like the all-time bomb that you've seen, like but with good actors, like Ishtar, like a really Dustin Hoffman. Okay. It's like considered one of the worst.
What would flops. You say? Where would Judge Dredd be in that category? Would that qualify?
I think a lot of that's.
What about Demolition Man? Is
that Stallone?
Stallone had so many of them. Yeah.
Like if you you could do like Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Yeah.
Or is it my Stop or My Grandmother Will Shoot You or something?
No, it's Stop or My Mom. Well, no. Stop or that's a good question. I don't know.
You already just labeled 3. So you take like the 100 biggest flops, and we're talking about money that like movies that the studios were behind that people were like, hey, it's coming out, we don't know. Siskel and Ebert were like, it's okay, and it was just, and now we look at it like, are you kidding me? And I want to take those movies and do a show called How Was This Made? Like, or like how did this? No, sorry. How did this get made? And do like behind the scenes to be like,
what were they thinking? That's gonna be the name of the show.
Yeah, like how did this get made?
Yeah,
because you're in LA, so you're in. So it's like, obviously, you need money, you need names behind these projects that never get made. These great scripts that just sit in stuff that just collect dust, and then, or how did like Caddyshack 2 get made? Like, really, like what were they even thinking? Or Jaws 2 is fine, but so I would love to hear people like in the know, like it was Stallone was convinced that he was going to be, you know, this lovable dad character, so he wanted to be in this movie. Whatever. I would love to. I love all that behind the scenes stuff, and with all the movies that, with how much money that goes into these things, I'm always curious, like, how do you miss so bad sometimes?
Yeah, that's a great,
especially when you have big time people, Warner Brothers or Universal, Paramount, whatever, and so you know more than I do, but because I love screenplay, I love reading about this stuff. So, like, how many levels a movie has to go to get made? Like, how many people see it? So, you know, the writer, the director, the executive producers, it goes through all these levels. It's like, how did everyone miss this? I mean, if you have a scout who says, you know, sign Dave Medina, he's going to be the next best center fielder. That's one guy, and he screws up, and, you know, he gets demoted. But a movie, it's got like 100 people touch it before they even start shooting. So that to me is, and there's so much money that goes down the shitter. So
I mean, it's kind of like anything. You have to put money in to make money too. So sometimes it works out really well, but when it doesn't, it's spectacular. It is spectacular, yeah. Yeah. That's great, Dr. Kev. I think
so. Someone should either do that, because I'm going to do it in a couple of years when I get the time.
Yes, maybe it'll happen. I don't know, but you're just full of ideas, and that's why
I really
we gotta.
Should. Yeah, I have tons of them, and I really feel like I'm destined. I don't know how I'd ever pull it off because it's too expensive, but I should be living in Los Angeles. I need to be, like, more and more, like, even I'm not a movie guy like you, but I like not the behind the stuff of the movies, like all that stuff, the behind the scenes and behind the music and behind.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here writing. I have a book. I just got a book about, you know, screenplays, and I like all that kind of stuff. And I'm in nowhere near any of that stuff right now, but
right on.
I guess you don't have to move that when you have everything online. I can get us a screenplay.
Well, as I said, we'll say goodnight to our YouTube audience. Yes. We'll be back if you're watching this live, I don't think you are, but if you were happen to be watching this live, we'll be back tomorrow with our Masters recap show. Hope you enjoy that.
If you are watching live, subscribe.
Yes.
Wherever the button is.
The button is like somewhere here. There.
We'll get better at this.
Yeah.
Dave will show me how to do it.
It's one of these spots, like somewhere underneath this.
If you don't know where the subscribe button is on YouTube, then you should just stop using YouTube by now. It's like you said, it's like the second most visited website.
Exactly.
So.
Well, how could you do that?
Yeah, Dave's, and if anyone didn't know, Dave's the nice one, and I'm not the nice one on the show. So
you're nice too. You sell yourself short. I think you're nice too. So
I have my moments.
For sure. Well, guys, good night for now. We'll see you tomorrow here in the city. Thanks.